Okay,
all right, Parashat Ki Teitzei. Parashat Ki Teitzei. Everybody knows? That's right, one of the most important parashot in the Torah because it's my bar mitzvah parasha. But Parashat, thank you. Parashat Ki Teitzei is always read during Chodesh Elul, which of course the purpose of Chodesh Elul is to prepare us to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and it's a month in which we go to war. Go to war, of course, we're going to war, spiritual war, because it says, Ki teitzei lamilchama al oivecha, v'le'no Hashem elokecha biyadcha v'shavita shivyo. And you will go to a war on your enemy, and God will give him into your hand, and then you should capture him as a captive, which sounds a little bit weird, right? That war is a war of identity, it's an identity war. In other words, we are fighting for really who we are. And it's something so essential, especially nowadays today. I don't know if you guys know what's going on in Europe. Europe basically declared a war, I mean not literally, but declare a war against Israel and against the Jews. They don't stop anti-Semitism. What's going on there? Many places in Europe, Jews are being physically hurt. Nobody seems to do anything about it. And there's like a tsunami of anti-Israeli / Jewish that's coming now from Europe towards Israel. We need to understand that this comes because of our weakness, not because of our strength, because of our weakness. And we need to strengthen our Jewish identity, right? Mm-hmm. And Chodesh Elul, Yonatan, take for yourself also, for the side later. Chodesh Elul is the month of Teshuvah, in which we are Teshuvah, and I keep saying to you all the time, not necessarily just an answer, also in returning. And we need to return to really who we are, to ourselves, to the true self of who we are, to connect ourselves back to the neshama and to abandon the fake self that we had created to ourselves. That game that we play, the role that we play all the time. This month, the month of Elul, by the way, if you're not feeling so well, there's some medicine over there. That month and the 10th day of Teshuvah, right after that, give us, or supposed to give us, if we're able to connect with it appropriately, thank you. Nothing like water. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niya bidvaro. Really supposed to give a special power that would enable us to really do that spiritual work that we all connect, that we need to do. Parashat Ki Teitzei breaks a record. It's basically breaking a record. There's 74 mitzvot in it, more than any other parasha. 27 are mitzvot aseh, and 47 are mitzvot lo ta'aseh, that really touch almost all aspects of our lives. And this is so interesting because it falls really on the first week of Elul usually. As when a person comes out to this world, basically from himself to the world, this exit always usually requires some kind of a battle, some kind of a war. When you're going to go out there to the world, that's why I keep telling you guys all the time, when you're going to go out there to the world, it's going to be an insult about who you are, about what you are, and so on and so forth. So, and whether it's going to be this kind of war or the other kind of war, but there's always going to be some kind of a struggle and a fight on that. And from that, the road is very, very long. It's a long and winding road. The Midrash in Dvarim Rabbah describes how every mitzvah is connected to another and how all these mitzvot are with us all the time. And it says, as the pasuk says in Mishlei, right? Since you just finished Mishlei, I hope, right? Mishlei Aleph, Perek Aleph, pasuk Tet. It says, Ki liviyat chen hem leroshecha. Liviyat chen, it would escort you. This grace will escort you like a crown over your head. Amar Rabbi Pinchas bar Chama, Rabbi Pinchas bar Chama says, Lekol makom shetelech, anywhere you're gonna go, ha-mitzvot melavot etcha, mitzvot should escort you. As it says, Ki tivne bayit chadash v'asita ma'akeh legagecha, right? If you build a new house and you have to make a banister, a barrier on the roof so people will not fall down, right? If you wear new clothing, right? the mitzvot would escort you. Shene'emar lo tilbash shatnez, right? If you went to get a shave, to get a haircut, the mitzvot will escort you as well. Shene'emar lo takifu pe'at roshachem. You can't cut your sideburns. You can't cut the corners of your head. You can't give yourself a deep fade or whatever it is, or shave your sideburns. You have to live it on. You have to look like a Jew. There is an involvement in that. I cannot tell you how, in a way, Eastern this concept is, that everything that you do is associated. That's called what I call Jewish dough, or Torah dough, the way of the Torah. All aspects of your life should reflect the Torah. It cannot be, and if there is an aspect of your life that you do not as a Jew, it's something that you should stop immediately and give yourself a good thought. They said, why am I diverting from Judaism in this aspect of my life? Everything you do, you should do like a Jew. Mitzvot will cover the whole entire your life. If you, for example, you're going to let's say you have a field and you're going to plow your field, right? It says over there, the mitzvot will ask at you, shene'emar lo tachosh b'shor u'b'chamor yachad. You can't plow on the same plow an ox and a donkey together. There's a mitzvah that is associated with that. Ve'im zarata ota, and if you planted your field, you sow your field, there's also mitzvah over there, shene'emar, because it says, lo tizra karmecha kilayim. There's a way that we have to do so. And if you harvest it, sure, the mitzvot will ask you as well, because it says, ki tiktzor tzircha basadeh, v'shachachta omer basadeh. There is a mitzvot that is associated with that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, even if you would not dealing with anything, you were just me'alech baderech, you're walking in the way, the mitzvot should ask you, shene'emar, ki yikareh ken tzipor, should say, ki yikareh kan tzipor, lefanecha. Where? Baderech. You're walking, there is a way to do mitzvah. The Ohev Israel, going a little Hasidish here. Oh, look at here, Sensei. No, you get your black belt yet? You should get your black belt in Judaism. The Ohev Israel, the Rabbi Me'opt says, and he wants to be medayek, he wants to be specific about it, that the Torah, for example, does not say that we will have to fight. We have to go to a war, because we said ki teitzei milchama. But rather, the true effort is in declaring a war on the enemy. And what is this enemy, according to the Rabbi Me'ob? To the Ohev Israel? Yetzer. No.
Ourselves.
No. The Yeush, giving up. I can't do this anymore, Rabbi. I can't learn Gemara. I give up, man. I give up. Pain. The pain that you feel all the time. One thing is, I keep telling you all the time, pain is pain. You have pain. But don't be obsessed with pain. Don't turn the pain to the focal point of your life. Don't live to suffer. There's pain. That's what we need to declare war against anger, against being pessimistic. Oh, things are bad, right? The sky is falling. The sky is falling. The rooster over there running around, right? Or feeling helpless. There's no way, nothing could be helped. That is what you should declare. The true enemy dwells inside of us. And according to Mekubalim, the learning of Kabbalah helps us to identify this enemy and where is it coming from. Because just like any other enemy, you need to do your recon. You need to send your troops to see where is it coming from, what's going on. You need to have a whole network of spies to understand what's going on, what's not going on, and so on and so forth. So the Kabbalah helps us learn it. Or if, for that matter, if you're not up to that level of learning Kabbalah, so you hopefully you have a rabbi that would guide you to tell you this is what needs to be done. This is your downfall. He's your doctor. He's a spiritual doctor. Those feelings, those emotions that we just described, we need to change them, which are darkness, especially Avner. Listen carefully. We need to change them with light. We need to bring the light of creation into it. the or of the Yetzer Hara, the or of the Bria, the or of Asiyah, the or of the building. We have to build, we have to do, we have to be creative, we have to create new opportunities. Yetzer Hara is not just this Kabbalistic concept. Olam Yetzer Hara. You have to Yotzer. Yotzer means to create. You have to create opportunities for yourself. You have to create yourself a better future. You always need to be building and doing and active and so on and so forth. That's something that, you take from Kabbalah and you apply to life. It's not, it is essential to understand that. You need to bring hope to our life. Hope to our life. This is one of the concepts why, one of the reasons that the concept of Mashiach is so fundamental in Judaism, because Judaism by its core is a very optimistic way of life. I'm not saying religion, it's a way of life. Judaism is a way of life. It's not a religion, it's a way of life. The concept of Mashiach for hoping to something better, to be willing to take part in this creation of something that is better, right? That's what we need to do. And why is that? Because by doing so, we are fulfilling our purpose of being creators. We create a new reality by being positive, by being active, by not being afraid, and so on and so forth. And how does this happen? We have to declare a war. Once we declare a war, once we declare this war, immediately Netano HaKadosh Baruch Hu biyadcha. As soon as you said, I declaring a war on the negativity inside of me, you should know that at this point HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it in your hand. The problem is you let go of it. It's too hot. It's already given. The most important thing is to declare what? To say, I want to change my life. I want to change my life. I'm not afraid of changing your life. Don't be afraid of changing because you build your life around someone. Because you know why? Because then you know what happens? Then the landslide comes and hates you. There's a beautiful song about this.
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac, that's very nice. It's right, you see? Yeah, he learned something with me in the car. Right? And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu, once you declare the war and you want to do it, you show this willingness to do it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to find a way to enter this into your life, and together with that the mazal will come, the bracha will come, and so on and so forth. If a person doesn't have mazal, or doesn't have bracha, or has a difficulty in something, where there's a difficulty in parnasa, or difficulty in shidduch, and so on and so forth, that is for one reason, or not just because he has a bad mazal. When a person, for example, has a difficulty with shidduch, right? It's not because he has a bad mazal. It's because there is a certain point of darkness inside of him that he was not able to bring the light inside of it. He was not willing to go to war about it. So mimele, the mazal doesn't enter. So you want to change your mazal? Okay, to bring the light into your life. Bring the light into your life. It says in the Zohar, Leit atar panui mineh. There's no place in the world that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not present, is not in it. And because of that, any place that we have we have a chance to connect it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to create a kesher, a connection between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right, is, as you said it, right? You said it the other day. To be a Jew is a full-time job. To be a Jew is a full-time job. Everything, everything. You can't say, okay, I'm retiring right now from Judaism. I'm going to go on vacation to Aruba. No such thing. I'm examining everything. I want to move, let's say, from New York City. I want to move somewhere. Okay, where should I be moving? Oh, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I think to move maybe to Glacier Park in Wyoming, or maybe we should move to Texas. I mean, it's like big and nice, or maybe like Sedona, Arizona. It's beautiful over there. But as a Jew, I look at things differently. I need to look at this move from a Jewish point of view. What's the Jewish point of view? Is there Makom Torah there? Is there a shul there? Is there an eruv there? Is there a mikveh there? Is there Torah learning there? Is there a place that I can learn Torah every day? Is this a community that actually people are learning? With all due respect, I would love to go to Glacier Park. You guys who were lucky enough to go there, right? I'm sure, right? It's a gorgeous place. But as a Jew, go visit. But Torah, there's no Torah there. I'm not going to look at anything there as a Jew. I'm not. This is the criteria of what you're looking for. You need to put the lens of Judaism into everything that you do. Don't make the mistake that the Jewish Germans made in Germany at the time. A Jew at home, a German in the street. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. You gotta be a Jew in all aspects of life, anything that comes your way. And why is that? Because when you do that, you create a kesher with you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and whatever it is that you do, because of that connection, because of this willingness to connect it to God, the mazal comes to them, then you become successful. So if you see that there is a certain stagnant in your life, that you stuck, is because you know that you didn't put God inside of it. That's the secret ingredient. The secret ingredient, right? That's God. You don't have it. You don't have it. So guess what? Things don't work. You need to add the divine spark in everything that you do. That's exactly what the Zohar is telling us, right? So, for example, let's take about the roof, right? The roof at the time. Roof in Hebrew, how do you say roof in Hebrew? Gag. Gimel, Gag. In the old world, and still in many places in the world today, even here, right? The roof is usually flat. And what they use at the time, those places, they used to use the roof as a place to dry things. For example, you could dry fruits, vegetables, to preserve them, because it doesn't rain in those parts of the world in the summer. Sometimes it doesn't rain the whole year. But you have fruits, so you dry them over there. You have fruits, seeds, laundry. Maybe you could even sleep on the roofs in the summer because it's very hot. There's no ACs. Maybe warm up a little bit, play and to sit down and chill out, to bathe as Batsheva did on the top of the roof. You could a place to hang out. You sit down with your buddies on the roof. You're catching the breeze over there. You don't have to worry about rats or whatever running around, and on and on and on and on. So the roof could really tell us a lot about the people and their society, of how society is. You can look at the roofs of the people. You could really learn a lot from that. That's why in Europe and places like this, the roofs are always steep like this because they don't want anybody around them, right? You could tell about you can even tell about the socio-economical level of the neighborhood by the shape and the type of the roofs they have. It's interesting. We never thought about it, but hey, that's called observation, right? On the way, if we're going to simplify it, such a high place needs to have some kind of a boundary, some kind of a banisters, so people would not fall. And you hear it all the time. You hear it in Israel. Just recently, somebody was working on the roof and he fell down. Here in America, they have to put like that orange plastic fence if people are working, so people would see it. We're not going to fall down. I mean, in Israel, there's I think like 30, 40 people a year die falling off the roof. It's nuts, right? And you could really prevent this. You have to do whatever security measures you need. If you go to a building roof here, I remember years ago I went to a top of a building, and I couldn't believe it. The roof was like this. There was just a cinder block this high, and I was looking down and said, "Bono shel olam, somebody can fall here." That should not happen, right? So, which seems fundamental. So for that, the Torah, I need the Torah to tell me that, right? Why is the Torah telling me that you have to build a roof? It's plain simple, right? So the Torah doesn't always, as we think, deal just with spirituality and the spiritual thing and so on and so forth and far worlds and heaven and earth. The Torah many times deals, should I say even most of the time, deals with the here and the now, whatever the practicality, the here and the now. The Sifri points out that in a way there's a double mitzvah here. In the making the banister around the roof, there's a double mitzvah. Va'asita ma'akeh legagcha, right? You made a fence for your roof, right? Asita, that is what? Mitzvat aseh, is to do. Ve'lo tasim damim beveitcha, don't cause bloodshedding in your house. That's mitzvat lo taseh. Ve'lo tasim, the mitzvat lo taseh. So of course we're asking the question, V'asita ma'akeh legagcha, right? So it says, En li el agag, right? Minayin lerabot, right? And I need to also fence it, right? I need to fence what? I need to fence also if I have a pit, right? If I did a trench. Well, only the roof, I need to also fences and caves and crevasses and all kind of different things like that. Talmud Lomar, that's why it says, "Velo tasim damim beveitcha." In other words, you have to be careful so there would not come any harm. So that prohibition is expanded to any kind of an obstacle that exists within the jurisdiction, the responsibility of a particular individual. For example, as Jonathan said before, let's say you have a broken sidewalk and somebody falls and breaks his head. Well, it's your sidewalk, you're supposed to maintain it. Even though the city confiscated from you, but you're supposed to maintain it. Right? Or you have a broken stair at home and somebody wherever's on the stairs and breaks his leg. It's your responsibility to do that, right? Anything that can cause damage to the other person. So, for example, the Gemara says you should not raise a dog, and for all your dog lovers, instead of having dogs, why don't you raise children? Right? Well, don't have a bad dog in your house, right? Right? Because it might harm somebody, it can bite somebody. I remember years ago, one of my neighbor's kids got mauled by a Rottweiler and a German Shepherd. They were just, somebody let them, he didn't want to walk them, and they let them go like this, and he mauled his leg. It was terrible. My kids were there, they saw the whole thing. It was terrible. So, or for example, don't put a shaky ladder, in your house. Somebody's going to go on it. The ladder is going to, I had a ladder in my house that the previous owner of the house left there, and I examined it. I said the thing is broken, so I didn't try to fix it. I simply cut it down and threw it away. I don't want it around the house. And this is all because of the commandment that they have, lo tasim damim beveitecha. And by the way, if you want to look further into that, look at Masechet Ktuvot, Daf
Kuf Aleph
Lamed Aleph Amud. Wow, right on the money, right? And even though the poskim really don't agree with that, for example, by the Rambam, putting a fence it's such an important mitzvah that you need to make a bracha on that, right? Baruch atah Hashem, and so on and so forth. I remember one time my neighbor put a new makeh on his stairs, and he was debating should he make a bracha, should not make a bracha, and so on and so forth. So the Rambam says you should make a bracha on something like that. So. And it says, so therefore, making a first, is not just in the jurisdiction of, or in the perimeters of houses and so on and so forth. That was, as it was kind of borrowed and applied to any place that a danger can come. And that's why, for example, you're not allowed to put yourself in places of danger. Or do dangerous things. For example, what could be a dangerous thing? A dangerous thing could be skydiving, driving against traffic, right? It's a very common thing. Somebody doesn't want to go around the block; he wants a spot. He drives around. That's an avera midoraita, rabotai. That's avera midoraita. Lo yu damim beveitecha. And it doesn't make a difference if you have a BMW or you have a Corolla. You're not allowed to drive against traffic. Telephone over there. So now. So the ma'akeh come. What?
Jet skiing as well.
Yeah, all these things. So the ma'akeh not only protects you from actual falling, by putting the ma'akeh, putting the fence, you're creating a secure zone and an accessible free zone that you can actually access, right? Because until now, I wasn't able to go to the roof because it's a dangerous place. There's no, let's say you live in a building and there's 6 floors, and there's no fence around the edges of the building on the roof. So technically speaking, you're not allowed to go there. You're not allowed to go to the roof. Why? Because it's a dangerous place. But now that I put the fence on, I created a free space, a secure space. I'm creating a place that actually people can go. That's considered to be a creation. That's how I'm fixing the world as well. And people don't understand that, right? And you can even come to the edge of it and actually look down, because before you won't be able to do so. I know people, when they look down, they get dizzy. They get dizzy. So before now you can look down. Here's a fence. You can do so. You can even reach to areas that you could not go before. These are the fences that you put yourself. And that applies to your life as well. In life, there are dangerous places that we go into, spiritually, physically, and so on and so forth. If we're not going to take the necessary precaution against that, we're not going to be able to even go there. We can go there and make it if we put the necessary safe zone and safety net around us. All the time. All the time. And I cannot tell you how important that spiritual fences are in your existence as Jews and as people. You're going to go into the danger zone. And I'm not talking about, what's his name, Tom Cruise and Top Gun. Highway to the danger zone. That's for the movies. In our places, you go to a danger zone, it's like, you're not going to make it. Those forces are greater than you. You need to create a certain, shield from this kryptonite around you that you won't melt down. It will eat you alive. And that's what it means, bringing God into all those places. Other people, other Mefarshim says, they take it even a further step, that they say that the word Gagcha, Gimel Gimel, Chaf Sofit, is the highest place that we can reach even for ourselves, in front of ourselves. In other words, inside of us. Your roof, your top, in other words, your own personal top. Now, the word Gagcha in Gematria is 26. 26, exactly. Just exactly as the name of Hashem is. That we need understand that, as I said to you before, the fences and the barriers, not only in the physical world, but also in the spiritual world and in the emotional world as well. Also in that house that we call it our house, inside of us as well. That place inside of us, our body, our ham, our neshama, needs to be protected, need to be secure, and you need to feel comfortable with it. You need to feel comfortable with yourself. How would you go if you don't feel comfortable in your house? You're going to be a miserable person. By the way, I want to tell you something. One of the ways, David, listen carefully. One of the ways to feel comfortable with yourself and to actually survive the test of time is not necessarily do what is, let's say, for example, let's say you're a musician. Right? Today they're listening to hip hop, so I'm going to put a hip hop album. Tomorrow they want country, so tomorrow I'm putting country album, and so on and so forth. Don't go after trends. Go after what you like and stick to what you like all the time. Not only you're going to survive longer than everybody else, because everybody else is changing all the time, you're going to be the best at it. And that is something very important. You need to start with feeling comfortable with yourself. You need to create that safe zone. So there are certain things that we are involved that makes us feel internally uncomfortable. For example, to watch horror movies or to watch movies with a lot of gore and blood like this, it is very bad for your neshama. You know what, you little kid, why you shouldn't be afraid of it. It's a movie. But it's not what it's a movie or not a movie. It's what it does to you. Many people don't want to watch the horror movie that they took from the Hamas terrorists, murderers, that they put out there. If you're going to watch it, you're not going to last. You're going to have nightmares from that. There's no need to watch it. Maybe you should let the Berta, that lunatic from Sweden, watch it. But it hurts your neshama. So we should get away from that. For example, pornography. It's something that is bad for your neshama. You should stay away from it. All these things, you should, and then when you started to put this thing, then you're going to start feeling okay with yourself. Because when you're unsettling your own neshama, you cannot feel good with yourself. And when you don't feel good with yourself, you're not at home. You're not at home. At home, you should know that you should put every single step that you make, that's my home. That belongs to me. That belongs to me. You can't tell me you feel comfortable in somebody else's house. It doesn't make a difference how big the house is and how fancy the house is. In your home, you'll feel comfortable. And by the way, this is how we should feel comfortable, and that's what we should feel regarding Eretz Israel. In Eretz Israel, every step that you make, every time you put your foot, this is your place. You should feel comfortable there. You should know that Eretz Israel is the only place that's going to save you. Nothing else. Nothing else. And that's something put into your heads. And you should not allow, and you should not bow down to anybody who's trying to take Eretz Israel away from you. They want to have a two-state solution, not a problem. Go to Jordan and make whatever states you want. Not in my country! By the way, you should know that American indigenous people and the indigenous people in most places in the world, including New Zealand, which is completely off the beaten path, are pro-Israel in that matter, because the struggle of the Jews is the struggle of the indigenous people in their places, in their country. You should know that, and we should present ourselves as the indigenous people of that piece of land, and not the colonialist, leeches they came. And by the way, most of what they call Palestinians, there's no such thing. There were tribes, Bedouins, they came in to settle down. You should know that. The Bedouins, they came from Saudi Arabia. The Bedouin tribes, they came from Syria, from all the places they came over there. That's not such an invention. The word Palestinians, or what they call the Palestinian nation, is just another tool to try to eliminate the Jews. That's why the Europeans like it so much. They don't like us. But we don't feel comfortable with ourselves. That's why we cannot say it. We need to be politically correct. We need to make sure that they like us. They're not going to like you. They never did and never will. But when you are strong and you're confident and you feel good about who you are, what you are, nobody's going to tell you anything. Nobody's going to tell you anything. Now, when it says Shavita Shivyo, you're going to capture it as a captive, really, it doesn't make sense. You should really say you capture it. But you capture it as a captive. Why? Why does it say it? To teach us that we need to bring to ourselves back those powers, the abilities that our enemy took from us. Shavita Shivyo, I'll take what he took as captives, I'm going to take back to myself. And in our case as Jews, that captivity that we are taking back was first of all, and I'm going to tell you this, it's first of all bringing our brothers that are captives still in Gaza, which is crazy. If we are not going to do whatever we can in our power, one way or another, to bring those captives, we're going to cry for this for generations. Because it's a statement that we make not only about caring at the humanistic level, it's a statement that we make about what we are and who we are. But captive is also taking our land back. This is our land. We need to take it back. Shavita Shivyo, we need to go on a war on that concept as well. Now, since you are on Instagram most of your days anyway, at least do something positive and support those who support Israel. There's a guy in Korea, it's crazy, he wears his army uniform all day long, stands with a Korean flag and Israeli flags, and he waves it all day long like this. Korea is one of the places that actually supports Israel, which is amazing. Now, so whatever it is, his name is on Instagram, I forgot his name or whatever, look it up, something with a J, I don't know. So Shavita Shivyo, to teach us that we need to take back again those powers. And we have to remember that usually darkness, giving up, and so on and so forth are the greatest before dawn. The darkest point of the night is right before dawn. You should know that. Before the victory. And the more we fight, more the victory is, the effort, it means that we have to put more and more and more, means that the victory is around the corner. Towards the end, usually we try to give up, but it's around the corner, Rabotai, it's around the corner. And it's so symbolic that we're going through such difficulties now because the call of the shofar is also a sound of going to war. When they used to go to war, they used to blow the shofar. And there are some religions in the world that the ideal is to leave this world and to reach nirvana and so on and so forth. And I can understand them. It's the making the whole thing spiritual and so on and so forth. To forget about everything, forget about the craziness of this world, to just forget about it and just to sit down and meditate and say ham all day long, right? That's fine. That's fine, good for them. However, in this case, comes the Torah and tells us the following. There is time until we're going to reach this point. Don't worry about it. You're going to reach this level. Meanwhile, we're going to be in the here and the now, and we're going to be in it good, and we got to be safe and very careful about how we proceed every single day further. Comes the parashah and finishes in maybe one of the most important issues in the Torah itself, is the mitzvah of Zechor et asher asa lech Amalek. Remember which Amalek did to you. Remember what the Europeans had done to us. Remember them. The French, they betrayed us. They made the Vichy government, the Germans, everybody. Remember what Amalek did to you. Spain, without a doubt, yes.
Romans,
Greeks, Romans, Italians, all of them. Remember what Amalek did to you. The Torah reminds us to be careful not to fall to the sin of arrogance and being pompous about things. Because even if we are in a tremendous dvekut in avodat haboreh, we are tremendous dvekut in working in Judaism, we can still fall into the hands of Amalek. And Amalek, we always know the gematria of Amalek is hasafek, which is 240, which is doubt, right? A safek on the light. What does it mean, safek on the light? We are in doubt. Maybe the good will win. Maybe the good will win. At the end of the day, because it does say, God will give it to you in your hand, right? And the way to remember and to remind us of all the time is to work that each and every day of us in every action we are eliminating the Amalek inside of us in every action. How we are connecting this action to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're bringing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is the ultimate reality, into our lives. So remove all the doubts. And if you remember, right, and that's to do with any thoughts that you do, with any action that you take, with any mitzvah that you do, you have to remember that where did Amalek was attacking Israel? Where did Amalek attack the Jews the first time? In the places of Refidim. After they left, the Azvu at Refidim, right? And over there, the Mefarshim, Amedayak, Refidim, right? The letter is Rafu Yadam. Their hands become weakened. They become weak. They became weak. In other words, what do we really need to do so? Do we really need to go there? Do I really need this mitzvah? Do I really need to keep Pat Israel? Do I really need to keep Chalav Israel? Do I really need to keep Glad Kosher? Do I really need to? Do I really need all these stringencies and so on and so forth? Do I? So as soon as they stop fighting, and we should try. And it says, okay, stop fighting, stop believing, stop questioning and having a doubt. Not questioning because you want to learn how to do things better. Questioning, do I really need to do it? Then, all of a sudden, Vayavo Amalek. Amalek comes. Amalek comes and Amalek hates you. Parashat Ki Teitzei, inside of it, engulfs the secret of redemption of Geulah. If you want to know how the Geulah will come, look into this, whatever this parashah, especially this parashah, and especially the beginning of Elul is actually telling us. And this is the secret of coming of Mashiach. When humankind are going to stop believing in the bad, stop believing in giving up, and start believing in good, and doing good, and bringing good, until the good will come, and that is the Geulah, the end for all suffering, the end of all pain for all humankind. And that's what we are praying for. We're not praying like we want to make everybody Jewish, or like the word we want to make everybody Muslim. No, we don't do it like this. We want to bring everybody to his own, but we want to bring good to the world. And the fight against the Jews is the fight against bringing good to the world. And you'll see it. Who is fighting us today? All those who want bad in the world. All the negative, evil people. They want to bring darkness to the world. These are the people who are fighting the Jews. So let's join together. Let's straighten ourselves up. Let's remove all the doubts. And let's bring God to the front gate, to the front door, to our home. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.